There's an all-new report out that suggests Bitcoin could this year reach a new all-time high of $200,000, nearly a 5x increase from where we are today, with other cryptos like Ethereum posting similarly impressive gains. I'm going to talk about this report. I'm going to talk about how you should be using this if you're in the crypto game to go where you're treated best, and I'm even going to give you some tough love. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. This is Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. Let me tell you, I am not in the prognostication business. I am not suggesting that Bitcoin will go to $200,000, but I wanted to share this with you. I found this article on CoinDesk, and I think it's of interest. I'm going to share with you the article, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts on what you should do to prepare. Because most crypto investors that you see on social media, that you talk to in person, we've helped a lot of crypto investors over the years, especially recently, they're very bullish long term. But obviously, you have a decent amount of volatility in the markets. And so I'm going to talk about why that matters. Here's the article from CoinDesk. It says, Bitcoin became increasingly correlated with equities towards the end of the fourth quarter of 2021 and fell when faced with the prospect of central bank tightening. This is from FS Insight, said in a note entitled Digital Assets in a Post-Cycle World. The bullet points of this are the correlation has become more pronounced with Bitcoin and the wider crypto market now being strongly correlated with tech stocks because of legacy market capital entering the fold, says Sean Farrell, head of digital asset strategy at apparently FS Insight. However, Bitcoin is still king. He claims it could reach $200,000 in the second half of 2022 following a choppy start to the year. He said that DeFi and NFTs and other Web3 applications have driven massive growth on Ethereum, that Ethereum could reach as much as $12,000, and that there's optimism surrounding Ethereum's transition to proof of stake in 2022, which if it happens would likely result in capital inflows irrespective of Bitcoin performance. This is as Bitcoin was trading at 42 and change and Ethereum or Ether just over $3,000. Now again, I'm not commenting on the value of that. We posted this on social media. Some people said, yeah. Some people said, I don't get it. But we've certainly heard everyone from Max Kaiser on down call for $200,000 plus. I go on social media, I hear $1 million plus. I saw $5 million plus today. And so here's what I want to tell you, whether it's this year or whether it's sometime in the future. If you are bullish long term, it doesn't have to be crypto. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be Ethereum. I don't discriminate. It could be Shiba Inu, whatever. I saw as I'm reading this, Shiba Inu was up 50%. If you are long-term bullish, and it's not up to me to judge what you should be long-term bullish on, but if you are long-term bullish, you want to go where you're treated best now, because there's a common misconception in the crypto space, and there's a common, perhaps emotional bias particularly in the crypto space that I've seen. Just call it as I see it. People, first things first, don't often understand that in many countries, when you leave the country for tax purposes, if you're an American, that could be moving to Puerto Rico, it could be expatriating. If you're from anywhere else in the world, generally speaking, it could mean moving somewhere else. There may be some restrictions or qualifications, but you're leaving your country, keeping your citizenship, but leaving. When you change your tax home, in many cases, you're going to be assessed some kind of exit tax or similar device where they're going to look at your unrealized capital gains. And so I've always said, every time the chips are down in crypto, every time the chips are down in the stock market, I've said, now is the time to go where you're treated best. Now is the time, while you have a bit more free time, right? If your business is down, you probably have a little bit more free time than when you're super busy. Take that free time and put together your plan. We do it for folks all the time, of where you're going to go, how you're going to solve your tax issue, how the whole thing is going to work on a global level, and then execute on that. And then be ready. So if Bitcoin goes down to $30,000, you don't want to wait for it to go up to $60,000 for you to make your move, because then from 30 to 60, that's a $30,000 difference, you've got capital gains tax. So let's just take the example of this story, $200,000 Bitcoin. If that happens versus as I'm sitting here, you're going to have about $37,000 at a long-term capital gain in tax for every Bitcoin if you are in the US. There are some countries with lower taxes. There are plenty of countries with higher taxes. So I talk to guys all the time, 100 Bitcoin. 100 Bitcoin, you're paying, public school math, $3.7 million more in taxes if you wait until this theoretical $200,000 number than if you left now. And here's the thing. This article shows and some of the recent movements in the market have shown you never know what's going to happen. You've got a more volatile market. You want to be prepared. You want to be in control, saying, I've got a residence somewhere else. I've got a home somewhere else. I can flip the switch at a moment's notice, and I'm going to decide when I'm leaving. Perhaps I'm going to lock in at a bottom. I'm going to do everything legally, of course, but I'm going to lock in at a bottom. I'm going to pay as little tax or nothing on the way out if I can get away with that. And I'm going to basically manage that tax expense. And then I'm going to be sitting in the Cayman Islands, Portugal, Dubai, or any number of other countries that are tax-friendly, have non-dom regimes, have all kinds of different regimes where you can go and tax exemptions, what have you. You can pay 0, 1, 2, 5%, whatever it is that you choose, rather than paying 20, 23, 30, 33. You can dramatically reduce the rate that you're paying as you have that run-up. Now, here's the emotional bias, and here's where I bring in the tough love. Right? I hear a lot of, particularly on social media, I will handle it later. Perhaps it's because people don't understand the first part. They don't understand. They think they can just pack up and leave. Okay, let me tell you, in many cases, not all, and I'm not giving tax advice because there's people watching in 100 different countries right now. But in many cases, if you leave your country, let's say you bought Bitcoin for $1,000, you leave when it's $50,000. That is, as we call it, their last bite at the apple. They do not just want you to leave and say, well, gee willikers, just take that $49,000 in capital gains. Oh, you got 1,000 of them? Oh, yeah, sure, just run out the door with $49 billion. Don't worry, we won't tax you. Now, in some cases, if your gains are under a certain amount or if you've held it for a certain amount of time, I mean, every country's different, but perhaps you can minimize that. But, countries, and I think you're going to see more of this, I think you're going to see more countries cracking down. They're not just going to let you walk out the door with $5, $10, $20 million in profits and say, I'm never going to pay tax on this. They'll say, that's great. Pay us on what you've accumulated so far, and then once you're gone, do whatever you want. And so if you get another $20 million in capital gains, then hey, God bless you. But the stuff you accumulated living here, we're taking our fair share. And obviously, that's going to have an opportunity cost to it. If you've got to take money out of the market to put into taxes, you'd rather do that when numbers are low. So people perhaps don't understand that. But I think that also on the emotional side, right, people want to only make that change when it's comfortable, when you feel good. Now, I understand. I'm a guy who's run a business my entire life. I'm an investor. When the chips are down, your mood is down, right? You're not as good of a mood. But I think this is an opportunity to practice some stoicism and to overcome the bad mood that when your crypto portfolio drops 50%, you say, you know what? The silver lining here is I'm going to go out and go where I'm treated best. And if I believe in the asset, again, this can apply to any asset. If I believe in the asset that it's going to go back up, wouldn't I rather see it go back up to where it was and then some, somewhere else where I'm in control of my tax rate? I'm in control of my regulatory exposure, which is an issue U.S. citizens face, where maybe they can't invest in everything. They can't shift their coins into other projects and they're missing out on the full opportunity. I'm going to go where I'm treated best. I know there are some of you out there like, oh, this Andrew is weak. He doesn't have the Chris. He's not pumping. He's not pumping everywhere he goes like Chris Kuma. You know what's not weak? Here's the tough fluff. You know what's not weak? Going into a U.S. embassy and putting cash on the table and saying, here's my passport. Now, I'm not doing it for the reasons that the crypto folks are doing it for. I support everyone's reason to do it, and I've talked about my reasons. But, not knowing if you can ever go back to the country you're born in, that's dedication. And so, you know what? Maybe we need to have a little bit more of this tough love where I say to you guys, you know what? Yeah, the chips may be down a little bit. You're not at an all-time high anymore. You know what? Sack up. Let's get it together. Now is the time, before the euphoria returns, to put your plan in place and have a plan to go where you're treated best and have that ride up. I'm kind of tired, honestly, if I have to be perfectly honest, of seeing people sitting on the sidelines because they lost some money in crypto. And I'm really honored to be working with people where they say, listen, I had 30 million, now I've got 18 million. Nothing changed. I'm doing the plan. You see, especially guys from Russia, from Ukraine, Eastern Europe, these guys, they change nothing. When it goes to 60 million, they stick with the plan. It's not like, oh my goodness, let me add some extra goodies. It's like, listen, we have the plan. We're sticking with the plan. I'm going where I'm treated best. I got a passport. I got a residence. I got a tax plan. We're sticking with the plan. That's the kind of stoicism that I think you need. Again, I understand as a lifelong business owner, I understand the emotional ups and downs. I understand it can be uncomfortable. I fully empathize because I know what it's like. And I know that sometimes you just want to say, screw it, I don't care anymore. But if you wait for the euphoria, you're going to end up overpaying dramatically. Here's the other thing, the other reason I'm telling you this, is because every time we get new all-time highs, you know what happens? Nomad Capitalist phone starts ringing off the hook. Now, I would like to be able to serve as many people as possible, and I would like to do that by somewhat distributing the work to where there are people who come when there's euphoria, and then there are people who say, you know what, I'm going to leave anyway, I'm going to put my plan in place. Let's just do it now when I can save some money. This is my invitation to you. I don't often, directly talk about how we can help you, but you can go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply. We have an intake form that you can complete. We'd like to learn about what you want to accomplish. We'd like to know about where you are. And I think that intake was designed to help people really get a sense of where they are, get a sense of what their needs are, talk it out as it were, and understand how serious is this issue for you. Listen, moving somewhere overseas, reducing your taxes, having second passports, I think it's very important. It's not for everybody, and I don't judge you if you want to stay in your home country and you don't mind paying the freight. Nothing wrong with that. But for people who are here and want to go where they're treated best, it's something that I believe is important to do before everyone gets busy. It's not just me who's busy. When there's euphoria in the market, everyone's busy. I'd like to help you, and I want to kind of put an end to this wrist-wringing that I see some of you. Not all of you. There's plenty of people who are doing stuff, and I applaud you. But from those of you who are doing the wrist-wringing and, oh, woe is me, everything's falling apart, you either believe in what you're doing or you don't. I believe in my business long-term. It's taken me a long time in life to get to a point where I really, do that because I'm a person who has been successful, I think, by having a negative outlook. But now, I believe in my business's long-term viability. So I'm making investments in my business. I look at every time, I have a little bit of extra free time as how can I improve something so that 5 years from now we're stronger, 2 years from now we're stronger, 1 year from now we're stronger. That's the way I want you to look at this. And if you'd like our help, you can go to nomadcapitalist.com. We'll be happy to help you. Whether you want it or not, understand how taxation on crypto or any kind of asset, any kind of capital gain works when you leave your country. Don't wait too long. And remember, there are not that many folks who are going to be able to help you put together a holistic international plan when you want to move. If you're in line with everybody else, there is not endless capacity. You're going to pay a lot more by waiting. You're going to subject yourself to who knows what new rules or taxes they pass in the meantime. And you're going to pay more on the way out. So take this moment from me to you. I have taken some big expenses on in my years of doing this, and it was not comfortable. When you go and for the first time you pay for citizenship by investment, you commit to doing that, and you think, oh, this is a lot of money. I have never looked back on any of those decisions of investing in internationalization because it has always helped me, and I've always gotten a personal and a financial return on investment. I don't want you to make a mistake of sitting on the sidelines waiting for the euphoria. Don't stop now. We've got well over 1,000 more videos here on YouTube for you to watch and learn how to go where you're treated best. And if you want to work with Nomad Capitalist personally, go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply, learn about our unique, tried and true process, garnered over years of experience, and learn how you can become our client.